Hello, my friends. Operator Starsky here. It's a big pleasure to see you today, and it's Friday night. It means that if it's Friday night, it sucks to celebrate Friday night alone. That's why I decided to invite my good friends, Tim and Richard from the Frontline Kit. How are you doing, guys?
Wonderful. We have Tim has some German beer, and I have some local IPA. So we're very happy, guys, on our Friday night to be in chatting away with you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
It's a pleasure for all of us, and I'm sure that all the good people in the chat would like to ask a lot of questions regarding drones, because drones, it's drones. Guys, can you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
After you, German Timchik.
So my name is Tim and I'm German, and I met Richard 1.5 years ago in a Facebook group, and he looked for people that want to come to Ukraine. And then I just went into a bus, and since then everything developed. Like I started cutting vegetables, then I did like camouflage nets, and now we are building hundreds of drones a month. So I lost a bit of control. Like it just happened at some point.
And my name's Richard Woodruff, founder of Frontline Kit, and I'm in charge of keeping him in control, making sure he doesn't make too many drones.
Guys, according to like your raw estimates, okay, how many drones have you already built for the Ukrainian armed forces?
About 1,500 at this point. We usually only count the ones we have sent out, and I would have to go into the list and look it up, but it's around 1,400, 1,500. But the number is growing fast now because we now build around 500 a month, and I think we will build next month 750.
We're building 1,000 next month. I've told Tim this on multiple occasions. We already have 700 plus that we're going to be needing to make for that wonderful Brennpunkt campaign that we just did. And and we have our normal orders on top of that. So we're going to be pushing 1,000 this month. And when I said to Tim next month 2,000, he was like, not a fucking chance. But I've said, we're doing it. We're doing it. As I said, I'm the one that's here, pushing him along, saying, come on, we've got to build more and more drones.
I literally don't know what to say. 1,400 drones. In what time? Like what period of time?
So we started really in February, and it was like the first 2 months were very, very tough. Like the first 3-4 months are very tough. I was spending here 80, 90 hours a week trying to fix things and learn everything because I started with drones from absolutely zero. And after some point, there was like a breakthrough, and then it started to be more smooth, and the results were coming in, and I got happy calls from the army, and then since then we're just increasing production.
This is insane. I mean, if you try to calculate like all the losses, for example, in ruble equivalent that Russians lost, that is the price, like the sum. The sum must be cosmic. Oh my God! Tell me this.
We were calculating just from artillery hits and our tank hits, and we're into the tens of millions just from artillery and tank hits alone, before you take into all of the personnel hits and everything else. And sorry, you're probably going to hear some drones flying in the background. Everyone's still working, even though it's 9:09 here, but the factory is still operating. We've said, can no one run in screaming stuff? But you will definitely hear a few drone manufacturing noises in the background because these guys don't take a break.
This is crazy. Guys, I would like to raise my beer, and today, instead of like usual coffee here, we're drinking ein alcoholfrei Bier to you guys.
This is also alcohol-frei.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Budmo. Cheers. Zaparamohe.
It's good. German beer is awesome. Tell me this, what was your most, I would say, I don't know, coolest target that was hit so far? Like the target that you're proud with?
It was a very slow start, and Tim's going to be incredibly thorough with his answer to anything. He said earlier, we started production in, you said February or something?
Yeah.
We were dicking around with them since December, but Tim always likes the concrete dates of when we were really a drone factory, where I like, elongating everything. So we had been, completely forgot the question there.
What was our best hit?
So me and Tim, we waited, 6 months before we had our first tank hit. And that was just insane. Tim called me like, Rich, you never guess what we did. And we were like, okay, we are going out and celebrating like immediately. We were just so overjoyed to just finally have that tank hit, because both of us said, like, yeah, we can die happy. The second we get a tank, like, forget everything else, we're good. Like, we hit one tank, that's good. It's paid for the whole friggin' operation. We never need to do anything else again to justify it. And now Tim hilariously says, anytime someone says to him, did you speak Ukrainian? He says, 4 tanks, 4 tanks.
Oh my God. Oh, what's the price for the tank? I think it's something like
2 to 3 million, I think.
$2 to $3 million.
Is that right, Tim? What
Yeah,
did
we
you
hit,
Google it on?
I think, 3 T72 in the B3 version and 1 T80 in the BV version. I think that one is more modern and more expensive. The units usually give you a perfect, like they analyze it, which version it is. Like, they can tell you everything about it. I don't know, for me, they all look the same. I'm just always happy when they hit.
Yeah.
A huge shout out to, of course, to Achilles and to Fatty, who all of this is possible because of Achilles and and Fatty. Like, the accountability that they give us is insane. Every single drone we have a report on. Every single drone we make, we get a report on. And not only because they're absolute legends and the nicest people, but their accountability is why they're the number one drone group for us. And we're just like, okay, like, if we could just send everything to them, and if we could make 5,000 drones a month, we would send everything to them, because they have the highest hit rates that we've seen. They tell us everything, and it's like, okay, well, why would we send it anywhere else when you guys absolutely kick ass? We do send to loads of different brigades because we support so many. But yeah, Achilles and Fatty, thank you. I know you're probably watching, so we love you. Absolute legends.
Guys, absolutely everybody in the chat loves you. That's for sure. And regarding other brigades, how many brigades are supplied by your drones? Like, again, roughly
10 plus. You probably have a list of 10 different ones at this point.
7, 8. I don't really know.
And now we're adding another seven this month with the lovely Brennpunkt Sumleni campaign, because they had so many kind of like territorial defense brigades and lots of brigades that we're supporting, but there are like different drone brigades within those brigades. So it's kind of cool, because we're going to see the results of a lot of new people rather than like just our same old guys. I mean, Alexei, 92nd, incredible job. But yeah, it'll be cool to see what the others do. And of course, if they show us they can kick some ass, then we'll say, hey, keep getting drones.
Yeah.
So probably 15 next month.
I'm thinking like 2-3 million for a tank. What's the price of an FPV drone?
$250. That's where it's starting with battery. I think the biggest ratio we hit with a $250 drone howitzer that was worth like between 1 and 2 million.
Because that was a race ranger or something, the VTX or something.
Yeah, like it was something brutally cheap. It was even under 250. One time we had like a bigger, like not even drug dealers could recreate that. Like it was more than that was out of this world. The ratio.
Yeah, so the very lowest have like a quality drone is $250. But yeah, for a quality 7-inch that we're putting out, you're talking like $300, maybe $315 a piece, and that's because we use all of the highest quality components. So every single one of our drones, even if not needed, is running with max solos. So it's the best VTX out there, and yes, of course, it's the most expensive for what we're doing. So around about that price point, and then the 10 inches, you're talking about $350 plus with the battery, and that. As every single drone was sent out and every brigade was supported, that's just the components cost. There's not, a dollar of labor on any of that, which we're incredibly, incredibly proud of, because we're the only ones in Ukraine that are doing it completely for free.
This is amazing. Amazing, guys. You have not only my respect, but I believe respect from all the brigades and from the all Ukrainian people. You are doing amazing and extremely important job, and I want you to know that Ukrainian people appreciate it. I wanted to ask, because apparently drones are not only used to make Russians good, right? They are also used to conduct all kinds of different operations that people don't even expect. Can you tell a bit more about this? What are the drones like? What's the specter of using drones on the battlefield right now?
So we have seen all kinds of use. I always make this joke that the Ukrainian army doesn't find a problem they cannot solve with a drone. They're using drones for literally everything, from delivering water. I have seen videos how some soldiers had like 2 packages of salami under a drone, and they were flying to the zero line with it. And I was like, guys, the drone was very expensive. Can you please buy more expensive salami so it's more worth it? I will also send you this with another drone. And yeah, they just said to me, somebody went on the phone and said, I'm like sitting here since days and days in the trench. I want this and this. Please send it with a drone. And they just did it. And then also, of course, there are lots of antennas being hit. Also, sometimes just like stuff somebody forgot somewhere. Sometimes the Russian just leave stuff somewhere, and I think they forgot about it or dropped it and were running, and then this also gets destroyed by a drone. And yeah, we're going now more into the thing of logistics drones because we really see the need for that because they were misusing other drones for this purpose sometimes.
So generally, you can also use drone to like pick up stuff.
We haven't done that, but sometimes not everybody tells me how they use their drone. Sometimes they just build something under it or do something with it, and then it suddenly has a complete new job.
What kind of drones are you, like besides FPVs? We all see a lot of footage on a daily basis of Russians like meeting Prigozhin, right? Improving using FPV drones and stuff. But what's besides FPV is used on the battlefield nowadays?
You have the bomber drones, if that's what you're referencing. We're currently developing a top secret one, which I can't tell you anything about, apart from me telling you everything about it. We gave you a super secret preview at the end of the last vlog that we did, live stream that we did. This thing can carry a lot of weight. You can easily be carrying a anti-tank mine on it. We're going more and more towards the side of reusable bombers because we like our value. But there really is no replacement for the good old FPV. It will always be so key on the battlefield in terms of when I say FPV, I mean kamikaze. There's no replacement. Yes, it is great being able to reuse something, but sometimes you just need a direct hit. But we're developing some heavy lifters. You might have seen the video where we were lifting an artillery shell, which is absolutely huge, and we were in disbelief, like how the hell did that thing carry something so large? Any comments, Tim, on developments in drone technology?
I think the future lies in small and inexpensive airplanes, but they're a lot more complicated, but we are slowly getting to it. And
let the Germans drink. To you guys.
Go on, Tim. Fill your mouth.
And guys, all the viewers, it's a channel with like the least officials. How do you call this? Anyways, let's just relax and have fun. I hope you have some good beverage there where you are right now. Tell me this. How did you decide to build drones? Because again, making drones in such numbers, it requires some like it requires planning, it requires resources, but most of all, it also requires motivation and good reason. What was yours?
Tim, you want to take this one whilst I eat my Jackie?
We had a Ukrainian guy coming to us who said, you have to now build drones. And we were like, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do it. And since then, we're trapped in it because we realized pretty early in it that it's also very entertaining, just the testing and building it. Basically, somebody gives you a huge budget for hobby electronics, and you have to make something out of it. At the end, it always ends with you have to send it to the army and they blow it up. We cannot keep these. But yeah, I mean, the normal FPV drones used in Ukraine are usually a high-end hobby drone. So I'm always very excited for testing day.
And Tim famously said it would be criminal to end an occupier with something that is not beautiful, and that's why every bit of our soldering is completely perfect. Because honestly, the amount of effort we go to making these drones, the team goes to making these drones perfect, is astonishing. Like, these things should last for 10 years because of how incredibly well made and beautiful they are. But yeah, these are one-way buggers unless they're converting them into bombers.
Mm-hmm. First time we saw drones used so massively, I believe, in Azerbaijan, when there was this combat around the Karabakh, and I remember we were all looking at those drones, or like, oh my god, how is it even possible, And then Ukraine was like, hold my beer. And when Russians invaded, we saw Bayraktars flying and stuff. It was crazy. Generally, I think that drones changed the war big time. And now you can save your personnel. You can perform your mission, your tasks with much less casualties due to this. And causing much more casualties to your enemy. It's insane. And question that I wanted to ask is, can everybody learn how to operate drone? That's question number one, and question number two will come after that.
Yes. Perfect example. We had a lovely gentleman come visit the factory the other day, a new supporter, and he brought along a couple of his kids. And he said, it's my little girl's birthday. Is there any chance that she can come along to the factory? And we were like, okay, fuck it. We trust you. We've had a recommendation from a very, very close friend that you are completely sound. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing dodgy. So of course you can come and your daughter can come along, because they wanted their daughter to be able to say, I've been to a Ukrainian drone factory on my birthday, and just have that huge smile on their face. And we said, you know what, we'll do one better than that. And we actually took them flying. And when we were testing some of our latest drones on the field that we have, the little girl and little boy said, is there any chance that we can fly? And I was like, okay, there's a slight risk. There's a $300, €300 risk on a drone. I'll chuck you on the simulator for 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes, if you can land and take off without destroying the drone, then you can have a go on the drone. And I was viewing the screen. He managed to land it, and the simulator is actually easier to fly the drone than it is to fly in the simulator by like 10% or so. And both of these kids, they flew the 7-inch drone, absolutely no issues, and managed to land the drone as well without a single thing breaking after 5 minutes. Obviously, it takes hours and hours and hours to become a very good drone pilot where you can do something with it. But yeah, you can fly them without crashing. And these kids managed to do it, and we're like, bloody good job, Because when me and Tim first flew them, and sorry, even now when Tim flies them, Tim's a really good pilot, but his landing's dog shit. You know, it's like, come on, Tim, you should be able to just land it down at this. It's got better. It's got a lot better. But yeah, for the first 6 months of flying, Tim just turned the drone off like 10 meters above the ground.
No.
Sorry, 5 meters above the ground and
1 meter.
1 meter above the ground, and let it land. And I was never impressed. I said, Tim, more sim time. Just practice your landings. You're a good pilot, but land, please, dear God.
And I would like to add that the children from the guy, they will go back to school in Germany, and they will tell all the other children that they were flying a kamikaze drone in Ukraine, and nobody will believe them, but it's a true story. We sadly haven't filmed it, so they will have no evidence, and nobody will believe them.
Her dad got some videos.
Okay.
So
then
they filmed them flying.
Otherwise, it would be very sad.
This is like the craziest thing, you know. Back in my days, I would, so when I was going to school, I would pay like a hobo to, follow me to school. And then I would tell my friends in the school that I lived on the street, to look cooler. But this is like the next level. It's like when you say...
Wait, is that a true story? That's a great story.
Yeah.
Seriously?
But like this is absolutely different level. It's like to tell somebody that you flew like kamikaze drone in the school, that is something I could only dream about. But question regarding second question regarding building the drone, how hard is it? How much time it takes? And can like any people without background with combining stuff, doing those electronics, can they do that? Can they learn doing that?
Yes, you can do it when there's somebody standing in another room and helping you. Like you get like, you have to do this, and this is how you do it, follow it, and then they can do it. But like doing it from completely zero takes, I think, a few weeks to a few months, depends on what your job or profession was. Because there are lots of small details in that make them better or not that good. And you have to do all these small details. You have to develop a process of quality control and sourcing parts. You have to know how all the fake parts look, because some of the part suppliers, I think, knowingly sell fake parts, and some are just too stupid to notice it. But you have to be able to notice that, because the drone unit you're sending them to, they will definitely notice, and then you get calls from the army. I never had this so far. No fake parts. I'm very, very happy. But I also look at everything I buy like for several minutes until I say, yes, I'm accepting this. And everything that doesn't look right, I just send back. I think my suppliers think that I'm some kind of angry German, probably also the people volunteering here, but it has to be like this.
My opinion on, is it easy for people to be able to build drones? Yes, we had some really wonderful young volunteers that came from Kharkiv, and geez, I think it was 4 days or 5 days before her soldering was absolutely perfect, and now she's building the most drones out of anyone per day in terms of the quantity of drones per day. So yes, it is possible, but I think it's exactly as Tim said. It is having someone there that understands everything that could possibly be wrong and go wrong to go, no, that's wrong, that's right, and this is how you should quickly fix it before it becomes an issue. I've said that it's Lego for adults, but Lego for adults where you need very, very strict quality control. Believe it or not, you can do a screw up wrong. You can do a screw up to the wrong tightness, and then the whole drone does not fly correctly because there's a slight wibble, vibrations in the frame because it's not completely rigid. And it's stuff like that you wouldn't know. You could do all the soldering perf, and you'd be like, wow, I made the best drone possible. But then the frame isn't built correctly, and then the whole drone is like, okay, it's not at the quality level that the army needs to be able to perform the missions efficiently and at the same level each time, because they need to have some stable platform where they know exactly how it flies. It's not just, we have this drone that's a bit wobbly, this one that's a bit different. Is you need to know how it's going to fly so that you can do your job as a pilot and hit the target.
Quality control is absolutely necessary, that's for sure. Do you have any idea what will you do after the war? Maybe you will start your factory for producing airplanes, aircrafts.
I hope that the war ends tomorrow, and I'm a proud owner of over 100 hobby drones, and that would really make my day, and I think also the day of every other Ukrainian. But I really don't know. I'm here now 1.5 years, and I really haven't thought about that, because every day you're focusing on the next problem, and you're talking to soldiers, and there's not really time for that. There are only things my friends in Germany are asking me, like, will you come back and then what? I'm like, no idea. Maybe I will teach people how to make hobby drones or build them for them when they cannot do this themselves. And the things I create will no longer kill Russians, but they will land under a Christmas tree, and some mother will give it to their child, and maybe something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm completely different. I'm just figuring out when we can start up our arms manufacturing company. And me and Tim have had many discussions about traveling the world, finding the next bunch of Russian mercs that we can kindly delete after the war. Because why stop with Russia? Hey, we've got to make the world a better place. And maybe we can take down some dictators in other countries. But I've got to convince Tim. And please, if anyone's watching and commenting, just say to Tim, go defeat some dictators. Don't go live a peaceful life in Germany after the war.
Yeah, send them a gift through like open window. I think they will appreciate it. Yeah, because there's a lot of totalitarian regimes, a lot of terrorist regimes that we unfortunately will have to deal with. We have a question in the chat. Any particular... Oh my God, why is it so black? Any particular... wait. Let me change the font color real quick because I'm stupid. Here, any particular simulator program you can recommend to learn?
I'm a massive fan of Uncrashed. But what's the one the military always using?
Liftoff.
Liftoff. Yeah, everyone uses Liftoff, but Uncrashed has like the beautiful visuals. And I've felt like with Uncrashed, you can actually tune the drone on the simulator to fly much more like the drones that we actually fly. You can really like spec it down to go, okay, that's exactly the weight profile and how it reacts to when you're flying it, so that when you're actually on the field, it's a lot easier. Where I don't know, I really don't like Liftoff, but yeah, Uncrashed is sick. I love the racetrack. We always follow the cars around the racetrack and pretend like we're going into the back of a Russian loaf or Kamaz or something like that.
What are they called? Buhanka? Scooby-Doo van?
Yeah.
I mean, we have hit by now 15
What's the name of them?
Buhanka.
There is an official name. The Russian loaf, the Scooby-Doo
Gaz, I think Gaz something.
Gas?
Gaz.
Okay. Scooby-Doo van. Everyone knows what Scooby-Doo
van.
van
Yeah, the foreigners did Scooby-Doo vans.
I'm just gonna. I want Tim to look more beautiful, so I'm just gonna see if I can just quickly. Sorry, Tim, you are very beautiful, but you're a bit discolored, to be honest. I want to make you a little bit more pink. Sorry for everyone that's experiencing color changes right now.
It's fine, bro. We have another question from Philippe. He asks, I heard last week Robert Angry Birds Madjar saying that in 6 months drones will operate with AI alone without man. Is it possible?
I always ask that question to soldiers, and they say they don't have seen anything that works that good that replaces non-AI drones. There are always some tasks that humans can perform better, and AI drones are more expensive. So when they're like double the price, they also have to have double the hit rate. Otherwise, why would you spend that money? Because nowadays they have like a 10% higher hit rate, but they also cost 30, 40, 50% more. And the units go like, well, why would you do this?
And I feel bad for the pilots that are having the best bit of their job taken away, which is that final bit. Like, where's the job satisfaction if you hand over the AI in the last few seconds?
It's like all the fun is taken away. I mean, I would never agree on that. That is the reason why, for example, Trine asks how long until farmers use drones instead of hiring crop dusters. That's the thing. Like people fly crop dusters. They already do, but those are lazy
DJI
people.
Agro. Yeah. They're just too expensive to drop grenades from.
Yeah, people fly airplanes because it's fun, not because they have to. And we also have a question from number 3. Could drones ever replace artillery? Each shell costs $3,000, I believe. What do you think about it?
No, I have heard from the units that artillery is still very needed because you cannot affect artillery by jamming. So the drone is, I think, always the first option because it's cheap and you can hit the target. When that doesn't work, I think they go to artillery when the jamming is too much or some other reason. Or also, drones don't fly in rain. When it's too rainy, too bad vision, they are like become pretty useless. And the other thing is artillery has a lot more firepower. We have right now drones with maximum 3.5 kilograms, and it will go up to like 6, 7, 8, but it's still not an artillery shell or some other kind of bomb.
We have one interesting question. My God. Where? Okay, this is about beer. Here. What is the smallest drone being made if OPSEC is okay?
7-inch, 1.5 kilograms payload, but sometimes they also use it with like 800 grams, but it's usually minimum 800 grams to a kilo. And that is already small, but they are very, very fast.
7-inch.
7-inch is actually the propellers, it's not the drone.
It's like
which I had to tell Tim about,
No, it was the other way. Wait, we have one here. That's 7-inch. And 7-inch.
So the 7 inches is here to here. Mm-hmm. It's the propeller sizing, not the size of the drone. So when you hear people talking about 10-inch drones, they're not 10-inch drones. They're 10-inch propellers on the drones. Facts for you.
Is that FPV or is that a drone used to drop surprises?
Yeah, that is a high quality FPV drone we use like for medium range, and it costs around. Wait, we have to quickly look at the components. Yeah, they cost around $260, and this is what most of the units are getting, and this is also what they're asking for. But when you buy these from a normal company, you have to add another $100 minimum.
The 7 inches aren't really used as droppers because they can't carry as much weight as the 10s. So I haven't seen that there are 7 inches flying around with drop rigs, but they're 10 inches because they can lift more weight. It makes more sense to have something that can go back and forwards with the ability to carry more. You don't want to do repeat drops with something smaller just to save yourself, $50.
Yeah, I remember like 2019, 2018, we were experimenting with dropping like hand grenades, but there was an accident, not in my brigade specifically, but generally in the armed forces. There was an accident and it was forbidden to use them for dropping like hand grenades, like back then. But I remember that some of the craziest guys, and they utilized it like very, very effectively. They used drones to drop like VOG, like the, VOG.
Yeah.
And those were good. Those were like very, very, I would say, reliable. I remember we used them in like 2019, 20. Oh my God. Not on such scale, of course, but we did.
And I've got a question for you. And I hope you agree with me. Artillery, not that terrifying. FPV drone, when it's chasing you, beyond your worst nightmares, it's coming to kill you. Is that a
Absolutely.
correct assessment? Yeah. Okay.
I tell you this, we all have different fears. For example, my best bro Bogdan, who was my subordinate sergeant, he didn't care much about artillery. He was more concerned about like landmines, booby traps, which I understand. I have another friend, another sergeant who lost his foot like 2 years ago. Literally, he jumped into a foxhole that was mined, and instead of storming the position, he had to be evacuated. He lost his foot, but still, he was like. I visited him in hospital, and he's lying there without a foot, like half of foot, basically, like fingers, like nothing there. And he's lying down in the bed, and I'm like, "Hey, bro, how you doing?" And he's like, "I'm almost fine. It's like it's almost healed, guys. Bring me back to the front line. Like, it's fine. I can." I'm like, "Dude, like you were delivered like yesterday. Come on." He's like, "No, I'm fine. It will be fine. It will heal. I will like." But for example, I'm concerned about landmines, but I was concerned more about shelling, because generally, I have this very, very big imagination, like extremely too big for a former sergeant. And when they would shell us, it's like, when the shells get closer and closer and closer, and my imagination would play bad tricks to me. But then again, after a while, when you get used to the shelling, and when you can tell like approximately what was shot at you, from which distance, etc., doesn't scare that much. But the drones, like, this stuff is alive. This stuff is hunting you personally.
Yeah.
I remember last year we were on the position near Spirna, the artillery position where our guys were stationed, and Russians used their Lancet drones, and those are freaking nasty. Those operate together with like Zala, with Orlan, like their whole escadron of them flying, searching for targets. And I remember they were striking our positions constantly. I remember the guys on the neighboring position. I'm sitting, smoking, drinking coffee, and then I hear like this sound, and they start shooting like crazy. And then the shooting continues for like 2 seconds, and then boom. It's like it hit them, and they tried to shoot it down, and it just exploded. This stuff is nasty, because this stuff is like hunting you specifically. That's why like this is terrifying for real. We have question from Sarah. Could you ask where the drones are going, if possible? Kursk, Pokrovsk, or just like in Ukraine generally? Do you support particular brigades?
Literally every front that you could imagine. The nice thing is because we are still so small, we're so incredibly. Sorry, there's my dog. We're still incredibly so flexible. So we would have a brigade message us at 9 o'clock at night saying, "Hey, we're Pokrovsk direction. We urgently need 50 drones like by the morning." And our guys would just work their absolute asses off, and we would just get absolutely everything that we can to them. And that was like 2 days ago that was happening. They were like, "We need a shit ton of drones, otherwise our guys will die. So like we need it now." And this happened 3-4 months back. And this is one amazing thing about Achilles, the 92nd, is they said like, we understand that area right now is getting completely fucked. Like, you can do their drones, you can delay our delivery so that they get their stuff now, because we know through our internal channels they're in a complete shit situation, and we would like you to obviously help them. So yeah, please delay our delivery by a week so that they can get the stuff, because at that moment it was life or death for them, whereas our Achilles in that moment still had an excess of a couple hundred drones, so they weren't freaking out like we have nothing left. So if Tim wants to add anything to that.
No,
there we are. He was looking lovingly at me. I thought there was something coming after that.
I will be bombing you with questions. Can Molotov cocktails be delivered by drones? I believe. Let's expand this question. Incendiary charges, are they often used?
Just use the thermite, as we've seen, through the past few weeks. You just strap thermite to the bottom of a drone and just burn whole tree lines rather than dropping a Molotov cocktail. If you can have something that's running for like 30 seconds a minute that's burning a whole section rather than just one Molotov cocktail, it's a more efficient use of the munition.
And usually the drone units decide that. Like, we deliver the drone, and then they think about what they're putting under it. The specifications they tell us or they ask us is usually about like sometimes you want this. I kind of know what your plan is. You can see it from what they're asking for. But really, the type of munition is usually also maybe done by a commander, and also what is available. And then you can usually see it from the videos what they're hanging under there.
Oh my God, we needed them like in 2017. I remember we were stationed at this reservoir. On one side, our positions, and on the other side of reservoir there were Russians, and there was this how do you call this long grass growing from the water at the shore?
You're the British person.
I don't know.
With that fluffy stuff on the top.
Someone will let you know in the comments.
Well, yeah, and there was a lot of that grass. And what we saw was that Russians were constantly bringing like equipment back and forth, in that grass. It's tall, and you cannot see much. And they later, like as we realized, they had fake position there, but we were not sure. And eventually, we tried to set that grass on fire. And we used all kinds of crazy shit. We spent all the tracing.
You said it was in the water, so it was too wet to light, surely.
That was the first problem. That is like over water, basically. The second problem was that we spent all of our trace rounds. No, didn't help. Then we tried to load gasoline into RPG rockets and shoot those. Again, didn't help. And then I remember I was watching a video, reconnaissance video from a drone of Russian position that was literally shot with like a burst of tracing rounds. And it in just a second, there's like this massive fire coming out of their position and everything starts exploding, because it's like, the law of Murphy, I think, is like when you don't need it, you have it, but when you need it extremely, it doesn't happen. We have
tracer rounds are enough to set fire to stuff like that?
That was a lucky shot. Literally, the dude shot in that general direction using PKM, and it one of those rounds went into the position, in the bunker itself, and set on fire the ammo storage that was there. But nothing special.
From a bullet hitting something that was.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It was fun. We have another question, and this one is interesting. Do you also use GLONASS for navigation or just GPS? If you don't use GLONASS, then why?
This is usually something for bomber drones, and it's jammed heavily. and we don't have many requests for drones at the moment with GPS. It's really something. It will be a thing when we do larger logistics drones, but yeah, for 7 and 10 inch, it's really not a thing.
Do 3D printers help in drone construction?
This is where I wish, and I'm currently no, I'm not. This is a lie. I need to film everything, like just for historical record purposes. I need to film this whole drone factory because right now no one has any idea what it looks like out there. They don't know that there are 20 people out there that are working away on drones, all day. And they don't see all of these workstations, and they don't see the 3D printing farm we have. And yeah, I was saying to the guys before we put in our 3D print farm, like we need to put white paper all over the walls so that they can't kind of figure out what this place is or where it is. But we didn't get around to it, and I'm always jealous when I see these other manufacturers that have these like white walled office spaces. Because it's like, oh, you have no idea like where this place is. So yeah, I would love to be able to show you the 3D printing farm, and maybe we'll redo that room so it's very very inconspicuous. But yeah, we're very careful, as you can see. Every piece of everything is always covered, just because we don't want to get hit by a Russian missile or rocket, to be perfectly honest. So we're very careful, but yeah, our 3D printing farm kicks ass. We've got like 20-ish machines, and yeah, we're getting more. We actually have so much that we're fulfilling the requests of not only Druk Army, but other independent brigades that message us saying, oh, our 3D printing farm on the front got blown up. Please, urgently, can you help us with, these drop fins or something else?
Can you?
Sorry about that. I just talking about Tim's fat butt. It's all okay.
Can you put a laser on a drone to burn stuff?
I like that.
We wish, and we will. That's a great idea. We will work on that.
I was fascinated as a kid by lasers, so I genuinely know everything. I say everything. I know everything about lasers, and unfortunately, you can't really burn stuff with lasers from that kind of distance. But you can use lasers to do targeted guidance for other missile systems. So you can light up a target with your laser and go from there. But no, you can't be burning anything with a laser from those kind of distances. There's not a chance in hell. A fascinating fact which no one on the internet knows. I was kicked out of school for selling lasers, during the secondary school. Apparently they're as dangerous as knives. So that's my fascinating history behind my life of laser salesman.
Lasers are cool, but generally they require a lot of energy. Like the energy source must be enormously powerful.
But still, from that distance, no way. If you're close enough to burn something with a laser, the drone's gone.
And your drone is too big.
Yeah, you can hold a laser like a couple of meters away from a black balloon, and you'll only pop it then. But if you're doing it 100 meters, there's not a chance in hell. And yeah, you're not flying 100 meters away from a Russian and hoping you can blow up something that's covered in black plastic.
Yeah, and generally I think that using like thermite melted metal is much more convenient and effective, I think. How long till Call of Duty Drone Ops comes out?
Go on, Tim. It's over to you. You're the gamer.
No, I'm not the gamer. I don't know. I think you should call the production company who's doing it and request it. I think there will be a lot of other people who want that. But I've seen like drone simulators, especially for usage for Ukrainian drone pilots, and They don't look as nice as Call of Duty, but maybe they're getting there.
Unfortunately, I think the only simulator which is mimicking the war right now is made by Russians.
No, they're also Ukrainian ones.
The Ukrainian flight sim,
Yes,
where they're
but
like trenches and all that lot.
we have to ask the soldiers for access to that.
No, there's one there's a publicly available one on Steam, and it's it's Russian point of view flight sim training, and you have tanks and trenches and everything, and they've mimicked it to teach Russians how to fly. But the drone dynamics aren't very good on it. But yeah, the footage is better in terms of like more real to life. So yeah, they need to port maps into Uncrashed and stuff of trench warfare so that we can practice actually hitting trenches rather than following a car around a racetrack and pretending it's a car on the road.
Yeah, I one thing that oh my god, makes me so mad is like Russian games. It's holy shit. There is no ISIS simulator. Nothing. I haven't seen like ISIS simulator never in my life. On Steam specifically. But games involving like that Russian terrorists is freaking insane. People still must understand what the Russian world is really is really easy. My God, too much beer. What
Too much beer. You can't blame it.
Okay, but the one that you're talking about is already on Steam. I believe I saw it on Steam. The FPV drone simulator, and it can be bought and downloaded easily. We have a comment. Yeah, we have a comment from Olaf. Being chased by FPV drone, maybe autonomous, is a classic sci-fi movie horror thing that was supposed to be worse than artillery or bombs. Chased by FPV must be more worse than artillery. Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. But again, there are cases when artillery is required. For example, when jammers are used massively, and for example, when you need to strike targets at a larger range, like 10 kilometers, for example. Is it possible to launch FPV drones at like 10 kilometers?
Yes, 100%. We've had them go double that distance. We can't say much more than that because we can't give you exact distances and everything, but it is over double that distance, which we can accurately hit. No issues at all. But the guy that commented is completely right. And as you were saying earlier, absolutely terrifying. There's a video that used to be pinned to my profile, which had us being chased down in the car when we were leaving the trench line. We dumped our cars into the bushes because there was an FPV that was about to crash into the back of us. And then you can see me on the video shouting at Matvey, the commander of the 93rd, to not go kick the drone because he was walking towards this drone, and I was like, it's beeping, and he was like, well, like maybe there's a rocket on it, maybe there's not, and I'm like, don't go check, because as you have seen and as we've all seen, the amount of times that a Ukrainian drone operator has pretended the drone has, ran out of battery or something, popped up at the last minute, and then taken a Rusky out. I just envisioned that in that exact moment, and when we were in the blindash, we had all the artillery coming down around us, but the scary thing was the Russian drones that we knew could actually target us rather than the Russian artillerymen, which aren't as good as ours. Fucking absolutely terrifying, completely terrifying.
I agree. Question for Tim. Is Call of Duty dead? Question from Lucas.
You have a lot of Call of Duty supporters on your...
No, I know who that is, and I was about to play with him today computer games, but he's probably mad because I'm missing out.
Yeah, sorry, Tim was a last-minute addition to the stream, but I wanted you guys to actually understand the technical stuff about drones rather than what I think is the technical stuff about drones.
Yeah, like
Tim is the genius behind all of this.
like friends, and I think also my mother is watching this because she asked if this is live, and I was like, I cannot grab my phone right now and tell you yes, but
Hi, Mom. Hi, Tim's mom.
yeah, hello at this point.
Hello.
But yeah.
Just in case my mom's watching, I love you too. I'm going to eat some jerky now, keep myself fed.
The boys are behaving well. We're drinking ein alkoholfreie Bier. And everything is yeah, everything is under control. Genau.
Genau, bitte. To all our German followers.
Any opinion on wired drones to avoid jamming? And this is, again, something really interesting that I also wanted to ask. How practical are they as they are tethered? Thank you.
Everybody was laughing when the Russians were developing that, but I wasn't laughing, and I think I was right. But we're not doing this currently because we usually do stuff the army requests. They're like, we want this, and they're like, okay, we will do this. But I haven't got any requests for like these fiber wire drones. But they seem extremely scary because the only thing you can do against that is to shoot it down.
But they're used for logistics. It's like when you're trying to do that final kilometer to the trench and you don't want to be running through a anti-personnel minefield every time. It's like, okay, if we just have a heavy lift drone that goes, a kilometer and back, repeatedly, then you're avoiding the worst part of the journey. And when you're talking about something as heavy as an EcoFlow, where you're talking about 20 kilos or so, you don't want to be the soldier that's dragging that through those minefields on that final run up to your position. So yeah, great for logistic drones, but it's not like we're using it for kamikaze and flying it a few kilometers. It's much more for the heavy lift drones where it's just constant back and forward all day to make sure that our guys are at lesser risk.
Yeah, generally serving at the front requires you to carry a lot of shit. I remember we went on a deployment. We were switching a different platoon with my platoon, and we were carrying ammo boxes, etc. Like a single ammo box for 5.45 for Kalashnikov is approximately 32 kilograms. And considering that you're wearing helmet and armored vest and your weapon and shit, and considering that it's bad weather in Donbass, holy mother of duck. I remember one time we were ordered, there's mine position and there's position of my guys. And we were ordered to switch stoves for reasons nobody could explain, but they had to bring their stove to my position, and we had to bring our stove to their position, which is 200 meters open area. And we were like, why the living hell should we do that? What's the point? There's that's the same stove. It has the same number of, why? No, you have to. Okay, and we had to wait until the night comes so we could switch stoves. Holy shit! Oh my god, my brain still hurts. Can anybody help print pins and send them to Ukraine? And generally, I would also expand this question: can people generally print stuff using their 3D printers?
Yes. I mean, there's Druk Army. I'm not an expert of Druk Army because we don't have to use it. But their units will have requests. You can print stuff and send it to Ukraine. That should be possible.
When Tim says he doesn't use it, he means literally he doesn't use it. But our print farm in-house uses it on a regular basis. I'm trying to remember how many thousands. They'd printed a lot of kilograms. Druk Army provides a screen that says user profile, and it shows you how many kilos you printed for the military, and it's some insane figure of stuff that they've done for them. Yeah, so that probably is the way to go if you want to help, because the 3D printing that we do is always changing, and every few days or so we might have some different spec, and then therefore we have an in-house designer that then changes our 3D print file to make it fit to whichever components or frame size or whatever else that we're using in that moment. Unfortunately, it's not an easy thing for us to go, yes, someone can help us with the 3D printing. But yeah, I'm sure that the military has so many needs and requests for just standard like fins or drone drop bombs. There must be a massive request list that's just waiting out there for people that are abroad, but I don't know how it is in terms of sending it via the post. But yeah, sorry that we don't have the answer to that question properly.
No, thank you so much. And question from Matthias: what's currently the most problematic part in scaling production in your view?
Me and Tim have opposing views on this, so I'll let Tim start.
Yes, we have opposing views on this. I would like to have non-China parts, just also for the good feeling. And the other thing is you need volunteers who want to go here, live here, and they will not see their friends in their home countries. They will be sitting in a room without windows and with lots of solder smoke and lead. And they are more enjoyable things. But the people we have, they come specifically for this to Ukraine, help us for a few weeks, and then they have their normal life, even with their families and kids. Like they're not only people in their 20s, or it's every age group. We also have a professor coming sometimes to us who teaches chemistry. And he comes here for 2 weeks, helps us. We connect him to some soldiers to solve chemistry problems, and yeah.
It's incredible, the volunteers that we have from all around the world that come with their specialities. We have electricians, we have composites experts coming from Switzerland to show us about the latest frame designs, and every single one of these people are volunteers, and this is why we can deliver drones to the military completely without cost, because everyone that you can probably hear out there, sorry about that, they are all there voluntarily. These people are putting in 7 days a week. And I mean, looking at the time now, it's 10:09, and people are still working away producing drones. And some of these people, they're here from 10 in the morning till 10 at night, and they don't take a break. They're like, no, I don't really want to leave my desk. I'm just going to keep building drones. And they build, hundreds and hundreds of drones per month, like individually building that on their own, which is absolutely mind blowing. And yeah, that's why I always say to Tim, I don't believe there's any issue with scaling. I think we have the most incredible, amazing people out there. And what's very rare is we're in a place where we like every single person that we're around and working with, because they're volunteers. They're great people, so we're gonna enjoy their company and being around them. We were very, very lucky guys to just have such an incredible team. And it's like, to think that people would actually pay millions of dollars to have a team that is that incredible, that are there every single hour of every day. And me and Tim are just like, you guys are great, thank you very much. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna keep killing Russians. So I was like, yeah, teamwork.
Yeah, that is absolutely amazing. And the most amazing thing.
Sorry, that's my dog again barking. She'll stop shortly.
What was the dog's name?
My security dog was barking again. Tosia. Tosia. Very, very beautiful. She just likes to... She's security.
She's a bit mental.
We have a man with a gun, and we have a dog that doesn't have a gun but has a large voice. So she wouldn't ever bite you, though. For anyone looking to intrude, Tosia's not going to hurt you. She just barks a lot.
That's a proper thing.
Yeah, the guy with the gun's more dangerous. Tim's been hilariously, and I'm going to release these videos, once we're eventually out of this place. Tim's nearly been shot 2 or 3 times now.
2 times.
2 times now. And I have the video of Tim nearly being shot. both from our security walking out of a gun and Tim going, "No, please don't shoot me!" like hands up. We have one of those fancy doorbell cams, and it's worth every dollar to see Tim nearly getting shot in the face because he's arriving to work at 1 o'clock in the morning. Nut job, I don't know why, but he's turning up at 1 in the morning. Oh, I'm just here to build drones. Don't shoot me in the face.
And now I'm always speaking to them before that, and I'm always saying "Bez Makarov Budlaska," and they always laugh, and especially the new ones. And then I show them one of the old videos where somebody is running towards me with a gun. They're like, "Okay, we understand."
I sent Tim the video so he can show the security, like, "Don't shoot me in the face. I'm the guy." Yeah, but our security's good. They're very, very gun pro, you know.
Lucas Rime, I think, says, "Team, when do come online to play? I'm waiting."
That is the Lucas who I like. I'm sorry, Lucas. Tut mir leid, ich komme demnächst.
You don't have an Xbox, though, would it?
No. It's nothing about an Xbox. Xbox. I just.
Are these code words?
No, I just.
Are you doing drugs, Tim? Do you need to talk to someone?
No. I don't do drugs.
Okay,
I just missed an appointment, and he's German, and he's probably not happy.
Lucas, ne można, budlaska. If you can translate that, operator Starsky.
Yeah, not now. Entschuldigung, Lukas, aber
German
hier ist another. Nein, mein Deutsch ist schlecht. Ist schlecht, aber ich lerne. Are Chinese batteries worse on drones? Question from Cold Coder.
Before Tim even answers, because Tim knows about it, yes, they are absolutely terrible. Anyone that any pre-made battery, terrible. Tim, I'll let you take over.
So we buy the battery cells, and then we have people who are welding them together. Because the companies doing that usually take a lot of money, and I don't trust them because it's already packaged. You don't know what's in there. You have to cut it open to see what's in there. And I prefer it when we buy battery cells. We test them. We know exactly, do they match the technical specifications, yes or no? Then we put them together and we mark them so also the drone unit knows what's in there. And yes, I think they're nearly all being produced in China. They're built by Western or Taiwanese companies, but in China because it's cheap. And battery production is terrible because they're heavy and it's super annoying. But it saves a lot of money.
Yeah, so you actually save more money producing batteries than you do producing drones. So if anyone is out there and wondering how can you help the Ukrainian armed forces the best and you're in Ukraine, build batteries. Don't build drones because batteries can be 3 times the cost of their components cost. And yeah, in Ukraine, maybe people are making a 20% markup on the drones, but not the 3 times of battery production is. So yeah, come to Ukraine, start a battery farm, and you'll single-handedly, help a shit ton of guys out on the front lines. And Operator Starsky, if you don't mind, as it is 10:15, I realized at this point we didn't give any shout out at all to the fact that our guys on the front are in a shite position right now, where they need, as I sent you in the list earlier, a load of inverter generators, Starlinks, and charging stations. So if anyone is watching this on YouTube, in the description there's a link to donate. We need 6,043, I think it was, US dollars to be able to buy everything that they need. And this is an urgent need. We'll be buying everything tomorrow. So if anyone can donate $5, $10, whatever, we'll buy all of the kit tomorrow. So please, in the description, if that's okay, Starsky, of course.
Absolutely. That's not just okay. That is necessary to say, guys. There are urgent needs. And by the way, we will talk a bit more about your other projects as well. Guys, please check out the link in the description. You will find the link to their website where you can find all the information and all the information on how you can support the guys. And I will even show it right now on my screen. Here you have a website where you can find all the necessary information, all the projects. And those projects are not limited only to FPV drones. It's also 4x4 procurement, electronic warfare, help in orphanages, humanitarian aid. Can you talk a bit more on that? What do you do besides drones?
Yeah, so just to be clear, at this exact moment, just as I said then, with the generators, with the Starlinks and the power stations, in this exact moment, in these exact seconds, that's what we're raising for that we need to buy tomorrow. And then once that those $6,000 are complete, then the rest of the money will go into the other project that we have at the moment, which is rebuilding the homes of those in Lviv that were affected by the missile strikes. So we have contacts, across every single region in Ukraine, and some of our drone builders at the moment are actually rebuilding the homes in Ukraine. We have some, in Lviv specifically, and we have some incredible guys. On the first day of the missile hits here, they were there, clearing the rubble and then starting to rebuild. And now I have pages and pages of invoices and documents of all of the windows and doors and the just general building materials that we'd had to buy, which now we're having to obviously pay off so that we can rebuild these homes. And the way that Ernest selected who will we help is the families where there were their husbands or fathers that are currently fighting on the front lines. So it was just the mother and the child that couldn't rebuild the whole home on their own. So we're helping them, and we're also helping a medic as well that was helping out too. So a medic and heroes that are on the front line. So we had 5 apartments that we're helping to rebuild currently in the Lviv region. So once we get over that $6,000 mark for the stuff for our guys on the front, then every other penny will go towards rebuilding the homes of those affected in Lviv. And of course, as you are on Twitter frequently, you'd have seen the very, very distressing footage about the man that lost his wife and 3 children. And that image is going to stay with everyone that supports Ukraine for the rest of our lives, because no one could imagine the horror of having that happen to you, raising kids for 21 years and everything being wiped out, including a wife. And that's what Ukrainians have to deal with. So the least we can do is say, can we buy you a fucking window? Can we put up your wall again? And that's $6,000 for 4 or 5 apartments. Just the materials. All of our volunteers are working their asses off because they understand what these people have lost. And as you know, Ukraine is an incredibly brotherly nation, and we don't leave anyone behind. It's if someone's had their house blown up, the whole community gets together to help them out. No one sits by and thinks it's not my problem. Someone else will pick up the rebuilding work.
Thank you so much for this. Thank you so much for this, my friends. And guys, please support these gentlemen because they're doing an absolutely incredible job. I would like to ask you this, and this question comes from myself this time. Why is it necessary to support Ukraine, in your personal opinion? Let's start with Tim.
So, in my opinion, it is necessary because I saw pictures in history class of what my ancestors did, and it was like a mandatory thing to tell yourself that you don't want to see this again. And I wanted to follow through on that. I'm not fighting, but I want to do something to support the people who are fighting and who are fighting for their families and their homes and their community and their country. And I really don't like bullies. I really, really like the videos of bullies getting blown up. And for me, Russia is like a big bully. Because I think that's the thing a bully does. He takes on the people who seem weaker to you. And yes, this is why I want to do this.
I've got to make it very, very clear that all of these people out there that are volunteering to build drones, they follow Tim. They follow every single thing that he believes in. He is their I don't want to say guiding savior. It sounds very religious, but he is the man that they all come to every single day. They come to Tim and they say, "Hey, is this right? What I'm doing at this moment and this time?" Tim's very modest about his part in this whole factory, but Tim is the one that does all the work. He runs everything. I'm just the face behind that. And very, very proud of everything he does.
Thank you, Richard.
Absolutely.
I love you, bro.
Yeah.
I love you, bro.
Richard also sometimes does a very funny thing when like other people are having problems with drones and they ask for like solutions. Richard says, "Get a German."
Yeah. If you want to have a better drone operation, get yourself a German.
I can confirm that. Okay, and let's switch. We have several more questions. I won't be holding you for a extended period of time, my friends, because it's late. But we also have several questions to answer. Let's do it quickly. Bobo asks who is better at operating drones, Ukrainians or Russians? And he also asks who designs the best drones, Russians or Ukrainians?
Russians. Oh, sorry.
Oh, we have one here.
Wait, we don't even need to answer this question. Let me just. Sorry. Okay, there we are. That's it. We're just.
Oh,
We don't
That
need
is
to answer the question.
aluminium. That is fucking aluminium.
The Russians, they just stamp theirs out of metal. This thing is bloody heavy. Ours carbon fiber. Ours lift a hell of a lot more. I mean, when we first saw their soldering, we said, wow, they must have a machine that does it. There's no way a human can do such perfect solders. And now our solders are exactly the same. And when we want to insult a new starter, we say, I've seen Russians solder better than you. But these, like this, the handymanship behind these drones is absolutely insane. Their idea is on quantity, not on quality. It's just let's ship out as many aluminium frames as possible, and they have movement in them too, right? They're not rigid
we
frames.
also only get the crashed ones. But the thing is, Ukraine has a lot of people building in their backyard, in their living room drones, and a lot of small companies doing it. So they have many, many different things, and it's very innovative. While in Russia, it's usually big companies, but also a lot of money. But when they find something, they just start producing that. And we are changing every month what we're doing to just make it a bit better, because we get actual reports from soldiers, from the end user. And they're saying like, can you please do this? And we're like, yeah, no problem. We don't have any company policy or anything that is prohibiting from us doing this. We can basically do whatever we want.
Another interesting question, which is bigger problem in winter, icing on rotor blades or reduced battery durability?
So I talked with drone units already about this, because I don't want this problem to be coming up at any point. And they said, please buy bigger batteries, like stop using the ones for short range, because they will not even be enough for short ranges. And the other thing is, they haven't said anything about the general parts, but what I will do probably in the next 2 weeks is starting to put them into freezers and then try to use them. So they're like, we have like a big freezer here, minus 20 degrees, and we will put it in there and see what happens. And then we also will buy other parts from other manufacturers and build with them drones and see which drone performs best after laying in the freezer. But I think on precision they are with Ukrainian soldiers where it isn't like gets minus 20, because they also have to stay warm. And yeah, we will see that. But I think it will not be such a big of a challenge.
What was the massive question that I missed?
How our drones will perform in winter. Battery life.
Well, they flew the beginning of the year, right?
Yes, but I want to make sure this works 100% of the time and not just most of the time.
The biggest reason for icing is I'm not a pilot, but I have like 500 hours flying Microsoft Flight Simulator. So
Yeah.
the biggest and the number of my takeoffs is like twice bigger than the number of my landings. But the biggest reason for icing is when you have visible moisture in the air. So when it's fog, when it's cloud or something like that, when it's raining, that can cause icing. If there's no visible moisture in the air, then basically you can fly safely. At the same time, drones don't really operate in like foggy weather, rain, etc., etc. Am I right?
Yes, I I don't exactly know what the limit to it is. They fly it in like a little bit of rain. We also did this, but some of the components really don't like moisture, especially video transmitters. Everything else we just varnish and it's protective from some kind of humidity. But this is also because of transportation. If somebody let the boxes somewhere sit where it's very moist, we don't want anything like the drones to be gone. And yeah, I mean, I don't think the altitude is low of the drones. We will see how it will be with drones hitting on drones. We want to start this, so I'm right now getting a wish list from the army because they now have experience with drones on drones hitting, and I will just ask them from your experiences, what do you actually need? Do you want to try something new? And then I will get a list, and we will do this.
Oh my God.
I know,
Richard's crazy dog.
She's such a baby, isn't she?
She-
She's
Are you giving
adorable.
her chicken jerky?
I'm giving her chicken jerky.
Oh no.
But speaking
Do you know
drones,
where that came from as well, Operator Starsky? Because
Yep.
I showed you the shop. You know where she's got her chicken jerky, which she's very, very happy with.
I would be happy too. But speaking drones on drones, that is freaking crazy. Like I saw that footage. Like, how can you even find? Okay, you have like direction. Okay, according to the radar, whatever. But how do you even find such a small target using like your screen?
I'm
It's
assuming their
impossible.
radar picks it up, and then they go, "Hey, you want to fly one of your FPVs up there to see the small drone flying around?" Yeah, that's the only thing I can think. I assume you're talking about the Sternenko compilation video where they hit like 100 of these things in a row. That's one of the best videos ever. Absolutely insane.
That is
I
fantastic.
asked the army, and they gave me some kinds of answers, but I don't know how much I can speak about it, so I'll just not risk it. And yeah, it's a new thing, and I also tried like a day after I saw the first videos. I was at the test flying ground, seeing how far can this thing go. But at 1,000 meters, I was scared because there were like a few hundred meters to the left and right, like grandmas picking potatoes up, and I didn't want to crash with the drone into them. That falls from a kilometer if something goes wrong. Because when you're flying drones for testing, you have to be very aware of the people who are next to you. You don't want to scare somebody. We also don't test them with fake RPGs just so people don't freak out and the police points guns at us. I always try to prevent that. And yeah, but we will continue. Like we will do this, and hopefully we'll also get some nice videos on that.
That was another interesting. Oh my God! It jumped away. When will AI be introduced? Generally, guys, what do you think about AI? I mean, okay, we don't really use them in the drones because it's not fun, but like how possible it is. Generally, teach
It's
a
already out there.
model. Yeah.
Yeah, it's already out there on a large scale. But yeah, when people say AI, they don't mean like proper AI. It's just basic image processing. And yeah, there are lots of things you see out there like, oh, we've made this AI drone and it's the most amazing thing. But the reality is you have to see the target to be able to like lock it on, and it's only just to cover that last bit of electronic warfare where the jammers are running. the last couple of 100 meters. It's not some like, oh, you just press a button and then a swarm flies up and it picks all the targets out in the field. It's not at that level. It's just basic image processing. And as Tim was saying earlier, if you're paying double for a drone, then it's like most of the guys just go, okay, well, just give us 2 drones because we've got great pilots. And if the electronic warfare is kicking in, we can just fly, 100 meters higher, and then we understand it falls and then hits onto the point. So, most of the guys are just very realistic about everything. And they say exactly, as Tim said, we do what the soldiers want. We don't go, force upon them. Hey, we've got some great new AI thing that can do all the work for you. It's no, the guys say, hey, can you help us do our job? And that is what we do. We just take command from the front every time.
Yeah, I agree on that. I think I don't even think that AI will someday maybe replace humans, because you have to understand what's in front of you. Sometimes the dude would hide in a bunker somewhere, or I don't know, you have to bring your drone into a window, and AI would never do that. There are tasks that people just do better, much better. And the last one for today, my friends, it's not a question, it's just a comment from one of our constant users, viewers and friends and supporters. Could you please send a huge thank you to Richard and team and all of their volunteers from our viewers? And this is exactly what I'm doing right now, guys. Thank you so much. That is from It Wasn't Me.
It wasn't me.
Yeah.
Does that mean it's you, or?
No, it's literally one of old-time viewers on my channel.
It wasn't me. Okay, I thought you were being code there. You're sending messages to yourself thank you guys, doing a great job from me.
No, you do. You know that. I mean it. But thank you so much. And on behalf of my viewers, guys, thank you so much for this information. It was extremely interesting to me. I learned a lot of interesting insights. Please stay online, don't run anywhere. And my dear viewers, Tim and Richard were with us today, Friday night. I finished my beer finally, because it's not the best beer, actually. I bought it literally at the gas station. But thank you so much for staying with us today. Thank you so much for supporting Ukraine. And once again, please check out the description to this video. Find the website of Teams and Richard's projects, and make sure to support them, because they are doing very, very important job in Ukraine. Guys, thank you so much. Tim, Richard, maybe there's something that you would like to say to our viewers before we finish?
Firstly, дуже дякую, and secondly, that link in the description goes straight to the Ukrainian NGO. 100% of the funds go into the NGO, and then hopefully with the support of your incredible YouTube audience, tomorrow we'll be able to buy the stuff for the guys on the front, the generators, the Starlink, the power system, so that they can actually operate as drone divisions on the front lines of Ukraine. So if anyone can donate, you will literally be saving lives tomorrow. And tomorrow on my Twitter account, I'll post all of the invoices and everything else. So please follow along on the Twitter account. Sorry, my dog is sniffing around on the floor to see where to lay next. I think she's a bit bored, so she's chewing various bits of plastic from drone production right now. But I'll pass you over to Tim. Is there anything you want to say to the beautiful people watching right now?
Yes, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to be here. And thank you for listening. And I really enjoyed the questions. And I hope I could answer them all. And you too. And have a great evening.
And we'll see you next week, hey, Operator Starsky?
Absolutely. It was a pleasure. Next Friday, we gotta buy something better than this. Don't run anywhere, okay? My dear friends, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Be safe. We love you. You are fantastic. Thank you for supporting Ukraine. Bye-bye.